In 1974, a sitcom premiered that did something groundbreaking. It brought the life of an African-American family struggling in a Chicago housing project to mainstream television. Good Times debuted and made a profound mark on its audience. With its story of the Evans family who always tried to hold on to their dignity, laughter, and love amidst countless hardships, the work was not only a resounding commercial success, but also became an unforgettable part of an entire generation's memory. But behind those classic characters are actors with their own very separate fates. Half a century has passed, and time has etched different marks on their lives. Some continued to shine brightly. Some chose a quieter path, and there were also those who had to stop their journey in tragedy. Let us look back at the tumultuous journey of the cast that brought the soul to Good Times. Esther Rolle as Florida Evans. In Good Times, the character of Florida Evans was the heart, soul, and the solid rock of the family, with her signature gap-toothed smile and a warm, authoritative voice. Florida left an indelible impression of a resilient mother who always kept her family on the right path with love and faith. Esther Rolle's performance at the time, at age 54, was a powerful and authentic portrayal of a woman who never surrendered to adversity. Before becoming the nation's mother, Esther Rolle was a respected stage actress with the Negro Ensemble Company. She was the 10th of 18 children, and her Bati father had made her promise she would never work as a maid in real life. Ironically, it was her role as the maid, Florida, on the series Maude that made her so beloved she was given her own spin-off. When accepting her role in Good Times, she laid down two conditions. There had to be a strong father figure in the family, and the Evans family would never be broken up. However, her journey with the series was not smooth. Feeling dissatisfied with the increasingly negative role model of the JJ character, she bravely left the show for a season in protest. She only returned after the producers promised to make positive changes. This act showed an extraordinary spirit and artist fighting for the integrity of the story. She later went on to have other acclaimed roles and won an Emmy Award. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Florida Evans strangely mirrored her life, while on screen, Florida fought for her family's dignity in real life. Esther Rolle fought for the dignity of black representation on television. The strength and integrity of the character were the very essence of the actress. However, that journey full of dignity and strength had to come to an end. On November 17, 1998, just 9 days after her 78th birthday, Esther Rolle passed away from complications of diabetes. Her passing left a great void. The legacy she left behind is not just the character of a great mother, but the life story of a spirited artist who never stayed silent in the face of what she believed was wrong. John Amos as James Evans Sr. In Good Times, the character of James Evans Sr. was the pillar, the strong and proud father of the family. With his powerful build and steadfast gaze, James left an indelible impression of a hard-working man who would take any job to provide for his family and never lose his self-respect. John Amos' performance at the time, at age 35, brilliantly portrayed a stern but deeply loving father whose catchphrase, "damn, damn, damn," became famous whenever he got frustrated. Before becoming James Evans, John Amos was a former semi-professional football player and a writer. Like Esther Rolle, he also had deep disagreements with the producers about the direction of the series, especially the rise of the JJ character. He felt the story was losing its authenticity and core family values. These conflicts escalated, and he was not afraid to speak out. After 3 seasons, he was fired from the series, and the character of James Evans was given a tragic off-screen death. However, his career did not stop there. Almost immediately, he landed his second role of a lifetime, the adult Kunta Kinte, in the historic miniseries Roots, a role that earned him an Emmy nomination and solidified his status as a formidable dramatic actor. He went on to have an illustrious career on stage and screen, notably with his role in Coming to America. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of James Evans was a true reflection of the man himself. While on screen, the character was a proud man who never backed down in real life. John Amos was the same. He did not compromise his artistic beliefs, even if it cost him the very role that made his name. However, that journey full of strength and integrity had to come to an end. On August 21st, 2024, John Amos passed away at the age of 84 from natural causes. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is not just the image of an unforgettable father, but the life story of a man who fought for what he believed in both art and life. Jimmy J.J. Walker as James J.J. Evans Jr. In Good Times, the character of J.J. Evans Jr. was a phenomenon. He was the lanky eldest son, a talented painter with a swaggering walk and a catchphrase. That became part of the pop culture lexicon. Dynamite Jimmy Walker's performance at the time, at age 27, was an explosive portrayal of a young man from the ghetto who rose to superstardom. He became the focal point of the entire series, an icon of the 1970s. Before becoming Jimmy Walker was a rising stand-up comedian discovered by the legendary producer Norman Lear himself. The role of JJ catapulted him to a level of fame no one could have predicted. Time magazine called him the comedian of the decade. However, his fame also caused rifts within the cast, as the older actors felt his character was turning a realistic story into a broad caricature. After the series ended, Jimmy Walker faced a harsh reality. He was completely typecast as Jay. Though he tried his hand at other series, no role could escape the shadow of Dynamite. He returned to his first love, stand-up comedy, and that is where he has remained. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of J.J. Evans was a complete opposite of his later fate. While on screen, the character was a breakout star in real life. Jimmy Walker had to spend most of his career grappling with the very fame that character created. He is a testament to both the glory and the tragedy of becoming a cultural phenomenon. Today, at the age of 78, Jimmy J.J. Walker continues to tour tirelessly as a stand-up comedian. His journey is a testament to endurance, the ability to keep going after the brightest spotlight has faded, and to continue bringing laughter to audiences. Janet DuBois as Willona Woods. In Good Times, the character of Willona Woods was the stylish neighbor, Florida's best friend, and a pillar of the community. With her confident demeanor, bold fashion sense, and gossipy nature, Willona left an indelible impression. Janet DuBois' performance at the time, at age 42, brilliantly portrayed a strong single woman who would later become the adoptive mother of little Penny. But Janet DuBois' talents did not stop at acting. She was a true Renaissance artist. Before Good Times, she was a Broadway actress and the first African-American actress to have a regular role on a daytime serial. Most astoundingly, she was the one who co-wrote and sang the immortal theme song Movin' On. Up for another legendary Norman Lear series, The Jeffersons. After Good Times, she continued to have a diverse career from film to voice acting, winning 2 Emmy Awards for her voiceover work. She was not just an artist, but also a community activist, co-founding the Pan-African Film Arts Festival, and a talented painter. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Willona Woods was just one small part of a phenomenal life. While on screen, Willona was a caretaker of her community in real life. Janet DuBois did even more. She was an uplifter and the celebrator of black culture through her artistic and social activities. However, that journey, full of talent and dedication, had to come to an end. On February 17, 2020, Janet DuBois passed away at the age of 87 from cardiac arrest. Her passing left a great void. The legacy she left behind is not just the role of Willona, but a theme song that became an anthem of aspiration and a life fully dedicated to art and community. Bernadette Stanis as Thelma Evans. In Good Times, the character of Thelma Evans was the personification of beauty, grace, and intelligence. She was the only daughter of the Evans family, who always dreamed of a better life. Bernadette Stanis' performance at the time, at age 21, brilliantly portrayed a young woman who broke every stereotype. She proved that a girl from the ghetto could have dignity. grace, and great ambitions. She became a beauty icon and televisions. First, Black, It Girl, after Good Times. Bernadette Stanis continued her acting career, but her greatest role would be off-screen. She became an author, writing several books, including ones on relationships and a memoir of her time on the series. But more importantly, she became an advocate for Alzheimer's awareness after her own mother battled the disease. She has used her fame to travel the country, sharing her story and helping families who are facing this cruel illness. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Thelma Evans was a true reflection of the woman herself. While on screen, Thelma was the embodiment of grace and intelligence in real life. Bernadette Stanis is also such a woman. She brought that elegance into her real life, becoming an author and a compassionate voice for a noble cause. Today, at the age of 71, Bernadette Stanis continues to write books, act, and dedicate herself to social activism. Journey is proof that a beauty icon can become an icon of compassion, and she continues to inspire the next generation. Moses Gunn as Carl Dixon. In Good Times, the character of Carl Dixon appeared in the final season as Florida's love interest, bringing a new ray of hope to her after James's death. Moses Gunn's performance brought a warmth and stability to the role. Before this, Moses Gunn was already a respected stage and screen actor, famous for his role in the classic film Shaft. He was a pioneering African-American actor who paved the way for many generations to come. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Carl Dixon was a reflection of the man himself, a strong and reliable presence. However, that dedicated journey had to come to an end. On December 16, 1993, Moses Gunn passed away at the age of 64 from complications of asthma. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is a groundbreaking career, an example for all artists. Ben Powers as Keith Anderson. In Good Times, the character of Keith Anderson was Thelma's husband, a promising football player whose career was tragically cut short by an injury. Ben Powers' performance was an authentic portrayal of a young man facing the collapse of his dreams. After Good Times, Ben Powers continued his acting career for a time, but without major breakthroughs. He chose a quieter path. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Keith tragically mirrored his life. While on screen, the character had to give up his dream for health reasons. In real life, Ben Powers' life also ended too soon. However, that promising journey had to come to an end. On April 6, 2015, Ben Powers passed away at the age of 64 from liver cancer. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is a thought-provoking life story of unfulfilled dreams. Johnny Brown as Nathan Bookman. In Good Times, the character of Nathan Bookman was the building superintendent who was often the butt of weight jokes, especially from Willona. Though he often complained and acted annoyed, he was an indispensable part of the community. Johnny Brown's performance brought laughter and a familiar warmth to the role. Before and after Good Times, Johnny Brown was a multi-talented entertainer. He was a singer, comedian, and a regular on the legendary sketch comedy show Laugh In. He had a long and respectable career. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Bookman was just one of many in a diverse career. In real life, Johnny Brown was a beloved entertainer who brought laughter to audiences for decades with his many different talents. However, that journey full of laughter had to come to an end. On March 2, 2022, Johnny Brown passed away at the age of 84 from natural causes. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is a career dedicated to the art of entertainment. Ralph Carter as Michael Evans. In Good Times, the character of Michael Evans was the youngest son, nicknamed the Militant Midget. He was the conscience of the family, a bright boy who was always asking tough questions about social injustice and fighting for what was right. The performance of young Ralph Carter, at the time only 13 years old, brilliantly portrayed a child with an intellect far beyond his years. Before Good Times, Ralph Carter was already a child star on Broadway, receiving a Tony nomination for his role in the musical Raisin. After the series ended, he did not aggressively pursue a career in Hollywood. He returned to his love for the stage and for music. He chose a quieter path away from the noise of the entertainment industry. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Michael Evans strangely mirrored his life while on screen. Michael was an idealist who was always searching for a deeper meaning in real life. Ralph Carter also seemed to search for his own path, a path of true artistry rather than Hollywood fame. Today, at the age of 64, Ralph Carter lives a relatively private life. His journey is a testament to the fact that a child star can choose a different path, a peaceful life after the spotlight, and still continue to pursue their artistic passions. Janet Jackson as Millicent Penny Woods. In Good Times, the character of Penny Woods was an abused child who was later adopted by Willona Penny's storyline, was one of the most gritty and emotional tackling a painful social issue. The performance of young Janet Jackson at the time only 11 years old was a haunting and convincing portrayal of a traumatized child. The role of Penny was just a small beginning for a phenomenal career. After Good Times, Janet Jackson stepped out of the shadow of her legendary Jackson family to become one of the biggest music icons of all time, with groundbreaking albums like Control and Rhythm Nation 1814, redefined pop music, combining masterful choreography with powerful social messages. She became a global superstar, a barrier-breaking artist. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Penny was a complete opposite of her fate, while, on screen, the character was a victim, a helpless little girl who needed protection in real life. Janet Jackson rose up to take control of her life and career, becoming a symbol of strength and independence. Today, at the age of 59, Janet Jackson is still a music legend. Her journey is a testament to relentless effort, the ability to overcome all prejudice to become a global icon.